Welcome to Trading Lounge and the daily US stocks for Friday, July 29th, starting with Apple here. So in a nutshell, we're looking from this wave A here to an A and a B and a C wave here, so pulling up around the 172 area. First of all, we're still looking at this as an impulse wave here, and this little move up here has got further to go. The 61.8% is around the 162 sort of area, but may push to the 165, which is the lower end of minor group 2, which always holds some sway, as you can see through here as well. There is an alternative count with wave C sitting here. We can have a look at that on the 5k tick or the 10k tick, I think. So not much sort of difference really, except that instead of having an A wave up here, we've got wave 1 and 2, but the same thing, we have an impulse wave to the upside here. But we're looking at it at this point as an ABC as the primary count. So in a nutshell, from the low here, we're looking at 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5 for the third wave, fourth wave, and then going up for the fifth wave here. So over at the fifth wave here, we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, as we talked about yesterday. So we can label that wave 1 now, and wave 2 here, then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 for the third, the fourth, and then the fifth. So you can kind of see how we're climbing up here. I think Tim mentioned yesterday that the 200 moving average is around here somewhere as well. So, but yeah, the numbers as they go from the 165 here is the beginning of group 2. Obviously 160 is going to be important, and just coming up here, you know, we've got 1, 2, 3, which is group 1, and then 5, and then 8. We look at 8 being a profit-taking number. We can see it being a little bit shy there, but eventually this should push up. It's just not finished just yet. The other point with this as well is that most of the other markets too, if you can kind of, not all of them, but most of them. So we're looking up for an A wave, then a B wave, and then a C wave. Okay, so that's how most of the markets will need to play out. So that's what you can kind of look at. Whatever market that you're looking at, we can look at it pretty much like this. They're not all like that, but you know, 90% of them are like that. So based on that, let's just quickly go through everything with Nvidia here, also displaying a nice impulse wave off that June low. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 here, and we're going up for wave 5. I'm not quite sure how to count this here. I don't know if I should include a little bump in the road down here for this and put this wave 1 up here for that, and wave 2 here. I'm not quite sure at this point, but I can say that we'll be pushing higher up through here. And once again, we'll be looking for, we can put that B wave over here. Once we've got those 5 waves here, we'll be looking for an ABC to come back into group 2 here. Will become, you can see how the lower end of group 2 has become the support. It's really quite handy to see this, because what will happen later on, this will be tested in many ways. So when we're talking about the number 2 here, major trading level 2, we're talking about group 1 above and group 2 below. That's its swing range in here. So it kind of locks into that space, and that's what we'll be looking at with this coming up into this here as well. So this will be here for quite some time before we sort of head on down with all of this. Okay, so it's kind of just good to know the sort of boundaries that we need to work within. Okay, so with Amazon here, the same thing as well from the June lows, where you could probably count this in a different way, but it kind of really doesn't matter. All we need to do is track 5 waves moving up to the 130 area, 130, 133, so to speak, maybe 128 to 133. And yeah, once we've got that, we'll look for the B wave and then the C wave up here. So continue, or if you're trading long or feel like trading long, then Friday should be pushing up higher here. I think Apple's got its earnings today, hasn't it? So Meta is a little bit different, but in a way it's going to sort of play out in the same way as well. So this move coming down to the 150, which is the medium level here, we can expect a bounce to come back to that, to the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree, and then push down from that point. Okay, so if you want to trade that up, then that's fine. Yeah. But then we're going down again after that. So I'll just stay with this particular count for the time being, but I won't go to the intraday because I don't think there's better ones to trade than that. Tesla, so we're looking at wave 3, 4, 5 down at this point, and then an A wave, a B wave, and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. So coming up to the 900 area, the medium level will be about where we want to be with that, and then we'll see an ABC back for the B wave and then up for the C wave. Yes, it is possible to have this as a bullish market as well, and but that will sort of come out in the wash. But in the meantime, this is where we are and this is where we're going to. So I think just I have to stay with what I know and say what I don't know. So that's where we are with Tesla. And Alphabet, I've sort of changed this around, had a bit more of a think about it. So taking this as the top here, looking at this as an A and a B and a C wave down here for this low. And I know this is a little bit complicated. We talked about this yesterday, a market moving up, and if it takes that high out there and yada, yada, yada. But I think that we'll expect to move back up to the 120 and then pulling back in a B wave with the rest of the market and then up for a C wave, which may probably go higher and could test up at 130. So I don't know that just yet. And then we'll pull down into 90 for the C wave to finish this sequence off at this point. So it is a little bit complicated, but it is vibrating here anyway in that sort of space, in that pattern. So not to say it's going to continue in that way, but the way that I've mapped this out here is in line with the rest of the markets, how they're expected to move. So I don't think I'd be too far wrong out of all of that, but I don't see fantastic trade. There's no trends here for this one. I mean, obviously it's up and you can trade long and the volume's looking good and those sort of things. So you can be long to 118, 120, look for support on 115. Yeah. So with Microsoft as well, we looked at this particular, I suppose some people look at it as some sort of flag pattern, but we got an impulse wave here, corrective wave here, so we're going to be pushing up. We've got this trend line coming through here, and also the 280, which is minor group 2 in here. So there's going to be some pressure at this point here. So how far it actually goes up, I'm not quite sure, but we can expect it to be moving up for the next sort of 2-3 days in line with other markets. So yeah, I mean, as a betting person, I'd be long and not short. It's just that you're going to, the market will stall in this space here. But once this move up here is finished and we'll need to try to track that as 5 waves, then we'll pull back for the B wave. That could pull back into the 250 here. We'll see how that plays out, but there will be a lot of support at this point. And so an A and a B and a C up here for the B wave and then down for the C wave. So that's basically where we are at the moment. So any trading really is pretty much, Jack be nimble, Jack be quick, So Bertie over here, so we've got the same thing happening as well. In this case here, we've got 5 waves coming down, which are pretty clear to me, and then we're looking for the A wave, the B wave, and then tracking up through here. So we've got probably 2 or 3 days to go as well, so the 300 would be the target. It may go higher than that a bit, but all in all, hit that major trading level 3 here, and then pull back towards the 280 area, and perhaps this trend line could come in handy at that point there as well. Might just need to move that because sometimes they just move when I close the platform down. Yeah, that's sneaking along there a little bit. But anyway, that's, continuing to the upside, and then we'll see an ABC to come back and then up for a C wave of wave B here. And this is the 50-60%, so coming up around the 320 mark. So yeah, so all pretty much the same as the other markets. Could we turn this into a bullish market? We could, but as mentioned, we've got 5 waves coming down from the top over there. Okay, over to block. I'm a little bit unsure about this, and I did look at the work that Alessio did on PayPal, and PayPal's got is lagging this particular market, and PayPal's got a nice little impulse wave off the low. So I'll leave that to you to have a bit of a look at. It's pretty simple to see that 5 waves, so that should push up higher. How to count this here is a little bit tricky each way. I can see that we need to move up here with the rest of the markets, okay? But that's about it when it gets to there. How should I count this? I'm not just quite sure, just can't wrap my head around. Every time I sort of look to get a count into it, there's a Elliott rule broken. So yeah, I could probably look at it as a WXY, I guess. But anyway, I'll just ponder it. But the thing to understand here is that the 80 is where we're looking at. Along the way here, there will be we're close to 75 here, so after 75 there will be 80. They're the little put in the levels here. So we've got 75, these are just little minor levels, and then 78 here. They're the ones that you'll need to keep an eye on at this point. And we've got obviously 72. 72 is important because basically it's halfway between 65, the medium level, and the major level here, so that's pretty important. And then we normally look for, as a long trade setup, we look at 73. Look for a little classic trading levels pattern in there, so you can go long here, of course, but there's going to be problems at the high here, but we should push up through all of that. But yeah, just to let you know that 75 and 78 are the next minor levels that you need to navigate. So I would imagine that we're going to push up to here and then come back as an ABC pattern, and then push up again at that point. And that's pretty much the pattern of the banks as well. So when we look at the banks, it'd be the same thing as well. They're slightly different. This one here is a little bit tricky to BAC is a bit tricky to get your sort of noggin around, but the other two that we'll look at, you'll see it there. So basically we're looking for a move up. How far will it go up here? It might just go to 30, 35 or something like 35 or 38. And then we'll have that ABC correction for that. So it's a little bit tricky. This one is an A and a B and a C for the A wave, the B wave and the C wave here. And then we come down at that point. So yeah, not too sure how far we pull up here, but good support on here. So all you need to do if you wanted to go long in these is really just to buy new highs, because you want the market to prove to you that it's actually strong, and buying, piercing new highs is best. So over here we've got the A wave, the B wave, 1, 2, 3 here, and an A and a B and a C for wave 4, and then 1 and 2 and 1 and 2, and so we're going to be pushing up for 3, 4 and 5 in here for this, and then the ABC pattern that will come into play over here for the B wave, and then up for the C wave at that point. So a bit of a rickety road, this particular one, but once again the long trades would be we've got this nice impulse wave here to help send us off a little bit. If you want a safe trade, take the top out here. That would be the safe trade. So maybe on the 115 here, look for a classic trading levels pattern as a nice tested support. It's not support at the moment, is it? It's just had the arrival here, the reaction in 3 waves, and sort of ready to push up. So is that support on that particular number here yet? No, it's not. That's something that you could wait for if you wanted a safe trade. And Goldman's kind of got the nicest pattern out of all of this, and you can kind of see it much clearly here. And if you can see it clearly here, then you can kind of do your best to fit it into the other markets. And in this instance here, from the low here, we've got the A wave, the B wave in 3, then 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 moving up. So it's pretty clear here. So if you wanted to take an exercise and count 5 waves in here, so we should end up, reasonably sort of somewhere up here, because the length of wave 1 and 3 and 5, wave 1 looks a little bit longer than wave 3, but yeah, so up here there's always a problem at 3:30. We've got the arrival, the reaction, first high above the level, so we can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, 1 and 2, 1, 2, 3. So we've got 3, 4 and 5. So it's not a biggie, but for day traders that want to trade through from by Friday morning and hold through Friday and hold Monday and get out Tuesday, that would be the trade for this. Alrighty, thanks for tuning in and enjoy the weekend. Cheers.